Squirrels! So hello, and welcome to another Legends of Runeterra video. My name is Chris, and today you can see we are doing something quite different. This just stumbled across my Twitter timeline, and I thought it was very interesting. We've got Deech here, at Deech TV. Not familiar with Deech, but I am very thankful to them for putting it together, this list of all the balance changes that they think need to be in the game. So I thought it would be a fun little thing to go through them, quickly talk about some of the changes that they suggested, things that we agree with, things that we don't disagree with. So this tweet is out there, as I say, at Deech TV here. I'll probably leave a link to their Twitter in the description if you want. So that's what we're looking at here, and we're just going to go through the cards. Now I am going to make my own balance videos closer to the time of the actual balance patch, talking about the cards to be buffed and nerfed that I would like to see, but it probably won't include, I tend not to include like every card because I'd be there forever. As you can see, like if you look to balance like every single card that you think needs changing, you would be there for a long time. So we're just going to quickly go through all of these. And of course, I'm not going to agree with everyone. We'll agree with some, but let's get into it. I also have Mobalytics on hand just in case any of you, maybe don't know some of the cards that, see very little play, but let's just dive in. We start with Bilgewater, and the first card here is Dreg Dredgers, and I think this is one that most people will actually agree on. This could use with the buff. Deep is kind of, a bit lost right now, and Dreg Dredgers, of course, the 1-mana 1/1 that tosses 3, could definitely use with the change. I've seen most people suggest that it go to a 2/1, revert back to what it once was. But here we, have the suggestion of it tossing 4. I think either way is fine. I think it does need a buff. It's a great card to buff as well, because it's kind of an archetype staple, right? It doesn't really fit anywhere else, but it's a card that you will always play in that archetype. So if you want specifically that archetype to be better, this is a great card to pick. And I think it's just a very good candidate for a buff, and I would kind of expect it. Next up, we have Black Market Merchant, and our friend Deech here wants to change it to a 2/2. Now, this one I'm a lot less sure on, because like the whole nab mechanic, I don't know when Deech maybe started playing the game. I don't know if they've played, for the entire time, or whether they're a newer player or whatever. But to me, like the nab mechanic, wasn't fun. And the way that they changed nab wasn't really fun. And I think I'm actually glad that we moved away from nab. I think, you think like TF is toxic now. Like imagine if nab was still good. Like imagine if nab was still good with Twisted Fate as we have now, right? I don't think that's where we want to be going with the game. I think that would be overkill, so I can't agree on that one. Golden Narwhal, which is the 2-mana 2/3 elusive with vulnerable, making it a 2/4. Yeah, that's fine. There isn't much to say about that. More Powder, slow to focus speed. So More Powder is the 3-mana spell. That is it 3-mana spell? Let's quickly check this one. This will be the first one that I just make sure I get right. More Powder is a 2-mana spell. I know it's summoned 2 powder kegs, but it is a slow speed. Now the suggestion to make it focus speed is of course a very interesting one. I don't think that you could ever make it burst speed, because of course doing that mid combat and then doing a static shock or something would be a bit overkill. I don't know about this one. It might make it a bit too good, would be my worry, but I do like the card targeting. I like that it's a card that hasn't seen play, and that kegs, like a kind of all-in keg kind of thing, hasn't really ever been a thing. So I do like the change. And I think, again, if you're going to pick a card to make an archetype better, that's the kind of card that you want to focus on, right? It's only really going to work with kegs. It can be more generically used, but you're probably more likely to be in like a keg deck and looking for stuff like static shocks or, withering whales. It's still flexible, but I kind of like the idea. Boom ship to a fast speed. Now, this is one that I somewhat can get on board with. How do I go back? All right, here we go. What's going on? Do I have to close this? Yes, I do. Okay, that's weird. Okay. So for those of you who aren't aware, Boom Ship here is a 3-mana slow speed spell. Deal 1 to a unit, then summon powder kegs equal to the amount of damage dealt. Now, you might have to be careful with this again, because this is a card that I think if you make fast speed, it might become quite good, quite quick. And I think what I would disagree with here is I think you can't buff both of these, otherwise you might create a deck that is, becomes pretty good pretty quick. So I wouldn't suggesting buffing both of these, but maybe one is okay. Bubble Bear, I think that's meant to say a 4 mana 0/5 play, 1 attack for every unit played this round. It's a similar idea to what I had back in the day. I've always thought that Bubble Bear should be a similar thing to this, like plus attack for every time you attune was what I was thinking. Every time you attune, you grant it 1 extra attack. So we're kind of on a similar line, so that makes sense. Sleight of Hand, 2 mana. Again, we'll just go in and quickly show you Sleight of Hand. Here it is on the end. Plunder, draw a random non-champion card from the enemy hand, 3 mana. You could make that 2 mana, I think that would be absolutely fine. Slaughter Ducks, summon a 4-cost sea monster so that you don't get the little sea scarab. Again, probably fine. Mystifying Magician to a 3/3. Some of these cards you just have not seen in such a long time. Making this a 3/3, again, probably would be okay. Maybe you could start off with 3/2. Razor Scale Hunter as well as the granting vulnerable one. I'll just show it to you again here. This, making it a 4/5, would probably be okay overall. I'm not sure that they will make these changes, but that could be okay. Double Up is a really interesting one. I've always wanted to make the card Double Up work, and I think if you were going to make this keg thing really work, you would have to probably look at this card, because deal 2 to an enemy. If it kills it, deal 4 to the enemy Nexus. And the suggestion here is changing these numbers around to make it deal 4 to an enemy and 2 to the enemy Nexus, which definitely would be interesting. And I could see it. Maybe a 5-cost would be too much. Wise Fry, remove vulnerable, fair enough. Strong Arm, draw 2, plunder. Place a follower that costs 7 or less into play from your hand. Hold on, I need to remind myself of Strong Arm. I feel like I know most of the cards, but let's just... Apparently a lot of them have... Is it not called Strong Arm? Are we in trouble here? No. Oh, right. It's got a hyphen in it. Wow. Wow, right. Okay. 6 mana, plunder, place a follower in play into your hand. Oh, this is from your opponent. So, draw 2. Plunder, place a follower that costs 7 or less into play from your hand. Yeah, that seems too good. I wouldn't do that. Scrap Shot, 2 damage 4 times. I mean, these cards, man, this person has really gone into it. Deal 7 to a unit. Instead, we have 2 damage 4 times. So you're taking away the toss. Why does this card have toss? That's actually a good point, I guess. Yeah, that's a bit odd, isn't it? 2 damage 4 times. Sure, whatever. The Siren, changing it to a 4/8, probably would be okay, I think. And sunk cost 8 mana to 6 mana. This is something I actually disagree with, because I think what they tried to do was they wanted to give every region a way of dealing with landmarks, but they don't want like every region to be able to deal with landmarks well, if you get what I mean. So I actually wouldn't change sunk cost. I know a lot of people have suggested changing it, but I personally wouldn't, because to me they wanted to make sure that every region just had a way of dealing with landmarks, but not every region should be good at doing it. And so I think, you know, Bilgewater is meant to be the worst at it, and that's why they got sunk cost, and that's the reason it exists like that. Onto Ionia, though. Let's go quick. Lulu is as a 2/4. Yeah, makes sense. I think you have to buff Lulu's stats in one way or another. Picks to 1 mana. Now, I always thought just making picks a 1/2 would be fine, but 0 mana might be interesting as well. I can get on board with that. Green Grade Lookout as a 2/2. I can get on board. That's the thing that reduces cost every time it strikes. Herald of Spring, which is the support card, which gives lifesteal. The 2 mana 2/2 Moose as a 2/3. It's probably okay. I was just checking the old memory bank of old war chefs and thinking, yeah, that's probably okay. Emerald Awakener, becoming a 3/2. So this is the 3 mana 2/2 with lifesteal that becomes a 6/6 when you're enlightened, making it a 3/2 and then a 3 and then a 6/6. Yeah, that's probably fine. Fuzzy Caretaker to a 3/3. I'd actually look at, you know, changing Fuzzy Caretaker a bit more than that. I think there's more you can do with that card, but definitely a buff is probably needed. Monastery of Harana to 2 mana. This is something I'm not quite on board with yet. I think we definitely have to wait for the next Ionia champion and see what they do, because I have an idea that it's probably going to be to do with summoning effects. You look at Field Musicians, you look at Monastery of Harana, it's definitely going to be like a summon as many units as you can deck, I think. And so I'd hold off on that. Scales of the Dragon, Dragon's Protection, slow to focus. So this is, if we can get it up, this is this card, which creates a, can I look at like associated cards? Yes, it creates, no, that's not what I wanted to do. How do I look at this? All right. Okay. It creates this: a 2-mana slow speed, grant an ally 0/3. I would definitely not buff this card, which might sound weird because I know other people have called for this being buffed as well. But this is the kind of card that I wouldn't buff at all. And it's kind of the opposite of Dreg Dredgers, right? If you buff this card, if you buff this and make this burst speed, then Scales of the Dragon, essentially, it's not an archetype card. It's just a good card. Now, you might argue that Ionia needs more good cards, but I would argue that the game needs to go more in a synergy type of way rather than, you know, everyone playing good cards. People playing good cards gets very old very quick, and so this is the kind of card I wouldn't buff. Don't buff this card, right? Would be my suggestion. Find like archetype specific, like find support cards for Lulu or something to buff rather than something that would just become generically good. Like this would just be a good card. You'd probably see Lee Sin everywhere and it wouldn't be fun. Shadow Assassin to a 2/1 makes sense. I'd do that. Snooze Bomb, honestly, I don't think that matters. Kinku Lifeblade back to a 2/3. Yeah, let's do that. Whimsy, I think this is meant to be to 3 mana. Seems a bit dangerous. I wouldn't be quick to change that card just yet, but we will see. Usari, remove Challenger, make it a 4/4 play, give vulnerable to an enemy. I don't think I'd make it a 4/4, but giving vulnerable to an enemy, I don't mind. Usari is the 5 mana 4/3 elusive Challenger. And Challenger doesn't make much sense, but vulnerable I think does, although you'd have to maybe think about, does Ionia have vulnerable in there? That would be an interesting thing as well. But I think, why does Ionia have Challenger would be another thing. Are there any other Ionia challenges? There probably is. Will of Ionia to 4 mana? Absolutely not. Do not do this, right? Please, God, don't do it. I don't know why people keep suggesting this all of a sudden. It's like, oh, we can make Ionia good if we make Will of Ionia 4 mana again. Yeah, you make the game a lot more boring as well. Shadow Flare. Will of Ionia, by the way, let's just stay on this because it's an important one. Will of Ionia was Hush before Hush. And making it 4 mana is terrible for the game. And if they made Hush to the level that Will is, like if they made Hush 4 mana, and it would probably be at the same level then as where Will is at 5, the game would just be a better game. So don't make it 4 mana. Shadow Flare, 7 mana fast grant, ephemeral to all battling units. Let's just quickly check Shadow Flare. Grant to all battling followers ephemeral. So you're making it 7 mana. It's already fast speed, of course, and making it champions as well. I mean, fine. It still would be bad, I think. Ritual of Renewal, 5 mana, slow. So you're changing it to 5 mana. You're changing it to burst speed. Heal 5, enlighten, draw 2. Yeah, don't do that. This is very much overkill. Like, I understand that Star Shaping is better than Ritual of Renewal, but this would be... I think this would be overkill. Like, considering... Yeah, this would be overkill. Because essentially, all you'd have to do then is put Karma and this in, and then just ramp. All you'd need is Karma, Entreat, Ramp, and a Ritual of Renewal. And you've got a deck, right? And you can just put other good cards in and just wait. Yeah, don't do this. This is far too overkill. Maybe buff the card, but I think let's be real. Yone, add, draw Yasuo. I love that change. I do think that that's the kind of thing we should be doing. These are a bit smaller for some reason. Can I zoom in? I can. I'm just going to take a quick drink. Hold on. Trying to blitz through these as quickly as we can. Shyvana, add Fury, makes sense. I think probably more so you need a dragon that costs 3. If we're being real, I think that that's a bigger issue, but buffing Shyvana is fine. Jarvan, choose if you want him to enter. That's the first thing they need to do, and it's pretty obvious. I think another thing that Jarvan could use with is... what could Jarvan use? Maybe an extra health. I don't know. He definitely needs something. I think maybe one more health would be fine as well, making him a 5/4. War Chef's back to 2/3. Again, I wouldn't want that. I don't think that's what I want. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd prefer War Chefs as, I don't know. Maybe just have bad War Chefs. I think that's fine. Look for other cards to buff. Buff things like Battlesmith. Make Battlesmith a 2/3. I think that's a better thing to do. Make Battlesmith a 2/3, not War Chefs, right? Make elites, like have elites have a better card that, again, you're looking at archetype specific cards to be good, right? Battlesmith is an elite card. You want that to be good. I think we want less generic good cards. I think that a game is much more fun when archetypes are good and, you know, just certain cards, like making War Chefs a 2/3, then it just goes in every Demacia deck. I don't want that. I want Battlesmith to be good. So the elites are good, but nothing else, right? I think that makes more sense. Confront to 2 mana, so Confront is Shyvana's spell, so it would also be a buff to Shyvana here. And it's the one that grants an ally challenger. Now, making that 2 mana, I'm not sure about that, to be honest, either. I think there's some very nasty things that you could do with that, potentially. Maybe it would be okay, but I'm not quite on board. Bladekeeper is the one that gives another unit 2/2, making that a 2/4 would probably be okay, but I probably wouldn't do it. Mageseeker Inciter, making it a 4/4, that's the thing that grows when you play a 6 mana spell, so it would become a 6/6. I like that change. Vanguard First Blade is the thing when you 4 mana, you attack, and it gets 2/2 and extra stats, so that would become a 4/5 now. That's kind of change that I like, because I like those cards. Dragon Guard Lookout is the Rally Dragon card, 6 mana. Making that a 4/5 would probably be fine. King Jarvan 3, giving it Challenger. I haven't actually played with Jarvan really at all, so I can't really speak about King Jarvan 3. Maybe? I don't know. Catagrin the Infernal, 1/1 and Challenger to dragons everywhere. Yeah, that sounds okay. Now on to Noxus, Katarina rework. I actually wouldn't rework Katarina. I'm actually going to save my idea for Katarina, but I definitely don't think you need to rework her. I think she's interesting, right? She's different from every other champion. She's interesting. And I would not rework Katarina. I'll suggest a change in my upcoming video. You'll see. LeBlanc create a mirror image when level up. Makes sense. I'd do that. Riven add play reforge. I think that would make Riven too good, so I wouldn't quite do that. Although, no, yeah, I don't think I would do that. I think I'd make the 3/1 a 3/2 if you wanted to buff Riven. But then maybe that becomes, just a too good of a generic good card either. So maybe not. Darius, change Darius spell to apprehend. I don't think I'd do that. I think Decimate is fine. That's a weird change, because I don't see why you would need to. Blood for Blood, fast to focus speed, drain 1 instead of deal 1. I don't think you need to drain 1 instead of deal 1. I think just keeping it focus speed is fine. Crimson Aristocrat to a 3/2. So this is the one that deals damage and gives a 2/0 buff. I think, yep. Aristocrat, deal 1 and grant it 2 attack. Yeah, that's probably fine. Brutal Hunter to a 3/4, so this is the one that gets quick attack on button challenge. Making it a 3/4, you have a 3/4 challenger after that. I don't know about that. Not sure about that yet. City Breaker, add play, deal 1 to the enemy nexus. Yeah, that seems fine. Arachnoid Host is a 5/4. Not sure it needs that either. Legion General, 5 mana, 2/2, remove Fearsome, grant Overwhelm. Probably not. Although, maybe. I think stuns... maybe. Maybe you'd make it a 1/1. Oh, wait, 5 mana as well? Oh, no. Legion General, I'll just quickly show you in case you don't know what Legion General is. This is Legion General. Oh, right, it is 5 mana. For some, I must be getting confused with Minotaur Reckoner, which is 6 mana card. So 5 mana, when I'm summoned, grant me 1/1 for each unit you've stunned or recalled. Oh, it's already a 4/4. Oh, okay, maybe then. I already thought this was a 2/2. I don't know. Maybe just seeing 2/2 confused me. I don't know. Armored Tusk Rider, 6 mana to 5 mana, making it a 5/4 instead. I think making it a 6/6 would be a better change personally, but whatever. Iroll the Tracker, 3/6 makes sense, although I think that this is the one where you'd want to decrease the mana cost. I think that would make more sense. But we'll see. Moving on, Freljord. Do we have all the regions here? Yeah, we got 3 more regions there. Caught in the Cold, slow to focus. I actually need to remind myself of what... Oh, this one, yeah, the 2 mana. Changes to focus speed. I mean, it would then be in line with the exhaust. You'd have to look at like region balance, because this would then become a very, very good card, right? It's basic. Maybe it'd be a slightly worse exhaust. Yeah, maybe you could do that. Feral Mystic, kind of the same thing to the Awakener, make it a 3/2. That's fine. That's the 2/2 Overwhelm that becomes a 6/6 when enlightened. Shatter. Oh, is the one that deals 4 if it's a 0 power unit. Making it fast speed. Yeah, that probably makes sense, but that might be pretty good. Stalking Wolf, Snowhair, last breath, your opponent draws 1. Okay, no. No. Stalking Wolf, that would be way too good, I think. So Stalking Wolf is a 2 mana 3/2 challenger that summons a Snowhair, which is a 1 mana 1/1. And they're saying put last breath, your opponent draws 1. So as in you would draw 1, the player with the stalking wolf. Yeah, that's no. If there was a 3/1 challenger in the game for 2 mana that drew a card, that would be pretty good. I think that's a bit over the top. Call the Wild, 3 mana to 2 mana, so that's the thing that draws all the Poros, Yetis, and Elnox. Yeah, that's fine. Scarfane Steth and a 1/4 Overwhelm. That I think would be overkill. That would become very... People would get sick of that card. You'd either have to make it a 1/3 or just don't do it. That would be a very strong card, right? If it was a 1/4 Overwhelm, very quickly you'd have like a... With Scargrounds being in the game, very quickly you'd end up with what? Like a 10/3 tough Overwhelm on like turn 5. Yeah, that's probably not something people want to play against. Tall Tales being burst. I'll quickly show you Tall Tales and remind myself. It's definitely a Yeti card. If you have a Yeti, summon a Yeti. Otherwise, create it on top of your deck, making that burst speed. Oh, no. Fast speed, maybe. Burst speed, definitely not. Can you imagine if you have a Yeti and you have two... Like, imagine if you got 2 of these in hand. You can just deal 15 damage straight away on a burst speed attack. Yeah, that can't be burst speed. Fast speed, maybe. Burst speed, no. Rhyme to Shaman, 2/4. That's the thing that freezes at the end of every round. Yeah, that's fine. Troop of Elnox to a 4/4. Yeah, that's probably fine as well. Icy Yeti, 6 mana to 5 mana. Frostbite all units with 3 HP or less. Yeah, maybe. Winter's Breath, 7 mana to 10 mana. Reduce my cost every time you frostbite a unit while in hand. Okay, I like that. That's a good change, I think. And the Tusk Raider, add Overwhelm. I mean, I love Tusk Raider, but would that be a bit scary? Maybe. Yeah, maybe that would be okay, but it'd be interesting. Victor, rework. Again, I don't think you need to rework Victor. I think you just need to... I mean, maybe you do need to rework him because his level up needs to change. His leveled up version does need to be better. He's basically a bad like Mountain Scryer, I guess. Vi, level up with strike 8+. See, Vi I think is more in line for a full rework rather than Victor, to be honest, because Vi isn't really a champion, and it would be nice to have... Like, you need to change Vi's level up condition completely, I think, to make her more of a build round and more of a champion, right? Armed Gearhead, 1/1 to 0/2. Why are you taking away the attack? Why not just make it a 1/2? I think that would be fine. Concurrent timelines delete. I haven't seen all of these. So concurrent timelines delete. You could just make it 4 mana and it would be fine, I think. Calculated creations. 2 mana to 1 mana. So that's this card here that creates one of these. Making that 1 mana probably be pretty good, but would that be too good? I think that'd be too good. Like, you can just easily get multiple ballistic bots. Yeah, I don't think I'd do that. Scrap Dash Assembly, slow to focus. It's the I just had a thought about calculated creations. It's the right kind of card to buff, like an archetype specific one. But I do worry that like ballistic bot is too good in general to make that a thing. To make that, you know, not scary. Parade, Electrolytic, that's the thing that you support. You shuffle more copies in. I actually think that's fine. Like, it's a fun card, right? Not every card has to be, you know, the best card in the game. Maybe it could change in terms of, like, you know, it's a play effect and it you know, of an ally. You don't have to attack with it. That would make sense, I guess. I don't mind that. Back Alley Barkeep, 4 mana to 3 mana. Again, that might be too good. I don't particularly like that either. Back Alley Barkeep, by the way, is the one that creates a card, the 4 mana 3/2. I think buffing the stats again makes more sense than a mana change. Because, you know, I think, again, this is the kind of card that people get sick of pretty quick. Eminent Benefactor. Create a card from your deck. Now, this is something I definitely do like. Eminent Benefactor is a really odd card. So it creates in hand an epic card from your regions, which is a very odd thing. Like, if Runeterra had, like, Hearthstone old economy, maybe that would make sense, you know, if you couldn't play with all the cards. But, yeah, having it be from your deck is probably better. Or, like, Having it be from your deck that's of a certain mana cost so that you could choose what it is, that would be kind of cool, I think. Mechanized Mimic to a 2/5 rather than a 3/4. That's the thing that gains all the stats and keywords. That makes more sense. Give it more survivability, but the lower attack is fine because it has Augment. Jay Madada to a 4/5. Old Jay. Poor Jay. Sure. And True Set Barrage to 6 mana. Now that might be a bit good as well. That would be more of a meta call at that point, but this could be a scary card because you have to think that this is a deal 3 to an enemy, right? Or the enemy Nexus. So think Aftershock. Sure, it doesn't hit the enemy Nexus. So that's Aftershock's already 4 mana, right? Then you've got Mystic Shot, which is another 2, and then you've got Blade's Edge, which is another 1. And you're combining that in one card. And those add up to 7 already. So if you made this 6, that would do a lot, right? Now, it is situationally not great if they've only got one thing on the board or whatever, but you can hit Nexus. Yeah, I don't think I would change that card. I think that would be pretty spooky. On to the next. Okay, Shadow Isles. Nocturne, grant instead of give this round. Hold on. Let me just check Nocturne here. Grant an enemy and give enemies -1 this round. So he wants it to be grant an enemy vulnerable and -1. Yeah, I'm on board. Kindred to a 4/5. Probably okay, but Kindred's an interesting one. I don't know what to do with Kindred just yet. We probably have to see. I don't know. I don't know what to do with Kindred. Absorb Soul, fast to burst, drain 4 to 3. No, I'm fine with it being fast. I think Shroud of Darkness, grant 1/0 instead of this round. That's something I could see. So Shroud of Darkness is this card here. Next time you summon an ally this round, give it 1/0 and Spell Shield. They're talking about granting it 1/0. Might be a bit scary though, but I think it's okay. Fresh Offerings to 2 mana. Fresh Offerings is a really, again, a bit of an odd card. If 3 allies have died this round, summon Varmor. I think this would be better if Varmor... again, I need to click on it here just to show you. Varmor is this 3 mana 6/6 fearsome. I think this would be better, like... If this was like either like an 8/8 or a 10/10, right? Something crazy. Then that would be better. Or you could just give it Overwhelm, and I think that would be fine as well. On to the next. Sap Magic, Heal Nexus 3. That makes sense. That's Maokai's signature spell. Dusk Rider, 5 mana to 4 mana. Oh, poor Dusk Rider. Dusk Rider is a card I think I'd rework. And I'd make Dusk Rider more aggressive. Like, make Nocturne's Nocturne... What does Nocturne need? Give him... Dusk Rider should be 2 mana in some way, I feel. So that it can go Stygian, Dusk Rider, Doom Beast, Nocturne, in theory, right? Although I'm not sure, like, you'd have to play a 0 mana thing on turn 1 to get the Nightfall, of course. Ethereal Emitter, play, kill an ally to summon. So it's just from your region? That's interesting. I do like these things where it narrows it down, because then you can start looking for ideal synergies, but we shall see. Soul Gorger to be a 4/6 rather than a 3/7. I don't think that would change the card that much, to be honest. Ether Fiend, 7 mana to 6 mana. That's the thing that kills something. Kill an ally to kill an enemy. I mean, if it wasn't a play effect, if this was when I'm summoned kill an ally to kill an enemy, then it would be a good card, right? So, yeah, you can make it 6 mana. And Rasa back to 7. Again, I'm pretty sure they've said they aren't going to do that. But I think it probably would be fine. Talia to cost 4. I think the Shurima ones are probably going to be way too early to even talk about, really. But Talia, yeah, we need to wait to see if there's more coming out. Unworthy. Slow to fast. Unworthy. Now, some of these I might actually genuinely need to remind myself. Give an enemy 4/0 this round, -4/0. If you have fewer mana gems than your opponent, kill it instead. I think if there's more like reducing mana gems, then this could actually be okay, to be honest. I mean, maybe you could make it... Yeah, fast speed is fine, probably. Steamed Hierophant. Add round end. Advance your count on the Sun Disk, I'm guessing 1. Yeah, sure, why not? Salt Spire, change strongest to weakest and 3 landmarks. Hold on. What is Salt Spire? Countdown 2. Summon Rock Bear. Then if you summon 4+ landmark this game, grant the strongest ally 2/2. Change it to 3 landmarks and change it from strongest to weakest. I don't think that would change that much. Ricochet won't go on dead targets. Ricochet is the Sivir's spell. And yeah, this can overkill things, which feels pretty bad. So yeah, that's probably fine. Boomerang Blade costs 76, slow to fast. I actually don't even know what that is. An ally strikes the strongest and weakest enemies, going to fast speed and 6 mana. That would be a little scary, wouldn't it? Yeah, I don't think I'm with you on that one. I mean, maybe a change in speed, but making 6 mana seems a bit much. Raz Bloodmane, 6/6 to 5/5. What? Why are you making this a 5/5? Are you changing the mana? I don't understand that one at all. This isn't a great card. I'm missing something there. Sandstone Chimera. Oh, that's the 10 mana one, isn't it? Add tough. Sure, whatever. Sanctum Conservator, slain 13, slain 11. Again, this is a card I would be very careful with, this Sanctum Conservator. You know, because this can win games. Pretty much. Like, kill all enemy followers, then summon a copy of me as an 8/5. Like, if you can get this off reliably. If there was ever a deck that could get this off reliably, like 100%, yeah, you wouldn't want this card to be buffed, and I feel like making it 11 might lead to that. And finally, onto Targon, our last region here. Asol 25 to 22. Asol's nerf might have been a bit weird, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Tarek 7 times to 6 times for his level. That's fine. Herald of the Dragons to a 0/2. I mean, again, you could just make it a 1/2. I don't see why not. Paddle Star slow to fast. I'm okay with it being slow as well here. I don't understand some of these changes. Like, why would this need to be fast? Like, when would attack count if it was fast? Is that mid-attack? Does that count when they've locked in their attack and it's attacking? Does that count? Because otherwise, I don't want that. Like, I don't want Targon to have good removal. Again, it comes back to what our region's good at. Yes, we could all just make cards that are the same, but I wouldn't be for that. Fledging Stellarcorn, a 1/3, probably fine. Giddy Sparkeologist to a 2/3, probably fine. Crystal Ibex to a 5/4. Stargazer to a 3/5, fine. Moondreamer 3/5 to 3/4, add Nightfall, grant me elusive. Moondreamer is the thing that invokes, right? I don't think we need more good invoke cards. That's just my opinion. Splendid Stellarcorn, 2 power less. 3 less. 2 less power. What, and it costs 3, I guess? Stellarcorn. That's the thing that heals the Nexus, right? Heal an ally in your Nexus 3. So a 2/5, 3 mana 2. I don't know. I don't fully understand, so I'm not going to comment. Sun Guardian. Add when I'm summoned, grant me spell shield this round. That would be fine, and that is all of them. That's this card here, the 6 mana 4/3. Yeah, that's probably okay. So thank you so much to Deech for, you know, sort of putting this out there. As I say, there will be a link to these tweets if you wish to look at them yourself, but we've gone through them all. Obviously, I disagree with some. I'm more in favor of some others. But yeah, I thought we'd go through it, sort of, you know, so you can just get a sense, maybe a feel for what you might change or want to change. Because there's some interesting things to be talked about here overall. So thanks to Deech. And thank you for watching if you have gone through all of this. Very interesting suggestions here. And yeah, let's. I mean, obviously no balance patch is going to be this big, but I mean, if it ever was, can you imagine? Can you imagine if they changed this many cards? God. Oh, what a crazy time that would be, right? But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching and have a really nice day.